And the issue here is we've now gotten to the point in this country, in this world, where the entire corporate whore media knows it's a lie, knows 3 months ago, Terrence Duffy testified before Congress and said, I'm not going to lie. He was there. He ordered him to do it. He's not going to lie under oath for Corzine. And the media still acts like that perjury wasn't committed. Now the emails and his orders are public, and no one gets in trouble. And here's the issue. The banksters have stolen. We haven't gotten a new number in 2 years. We're 4 years into the banker bailout, which is really just signing us over to the banks, signing on to their too big to fail. That's how they enslave us, signing us on to their derivatives they created as a ball and chain to tie to us. Media covers that up, acts like they're the experts when they're the authors of this. This is the type of information we're talking about. And it makes my head spin. And now he's caught in absolute triplicate. It's like walking out of the bank with your handgun holstered with 2 bags in your hand with big money symbols on it, loading it into the back of a van. And the cops pull up and walk by with a cup of coffee and go, hey, what you doing? Oh, I'm just loading some money up. I got a mask on. And the cops say, I don't see anything. Have a good day. Now, if cops did that, you'd know they were on the take of the bank robber. And that's exactly all this is. And the media tried to spin it. Well, you shouldn't have been investing in the mercantile exchanges. Tried to con the public, knowing most people aren't in commodities and futures trading, to act like it was the stock market or something. These were their accounts. Like when you go to a casino and you go put $1,000 on the casino card you're going to go use on slot machines or whatever. That's your money on that card. People put their money into the account to make bets, and then their account is up or down. And people like Gerald Celente had been trading in that account for 20-plus years. And he was way up. And he had taken delivery, ordered delivery months before. He'd won a bunch of money, making good bets on gold. And they said, you know what? You're not getting it, Jack. And they adjusted his statement. Even though he had the statements where he had over $100,000. That's all he'll say in profit. And they just said, you're not getting it, Jack. Now, do any of you feel safe when we've got reckless bankers? I mean, Corzine, like Madoff. Madoff created the NASDAQ. Doesn't get much bigger than that. What's bigger? People like Corzine. They're actual mega managers, former head of Goldman Sachs. Above that is owners, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, people like that. The bank's got $27 trillion 2 years into this. We don't know new numbers since then of U.S. taxpayer money that they leveraged out to infinity again. There's more derivatives now than there was 4 years ago. And they've got us signed on to those. And do any of you feel safe? Do any of you feel good knowing that they could have easily just guaranteed at the CME group, as they'd promised previously, all of the commodities exchanges going on through the mercantile, as they've done in the past? This has happened before, something similar. No, this time they didn't. And what does that tell you? They know that they don't want to set a precedent that when all of this derivatives paper goes bad, it's already bad, but when the dominoes start moving even quicker, they do not want the precedent that they're going to pay you your money that's in these accounts. But it's worse than that. They're going to take your pension funds. They've already done this in Europe. They're going to take your private bank accounts. They're going to take your 401ks. They're going to take your commodity futures trading accounts, your bank accounts. That's what this is. This is all a big test to see if they can do that. And right now, Corzine is just out in the open with hundreds of articles. I typed his name in this morning. It was actually thousands. You put it into this Google NSA search engine, click news, it was thousands. You'll have the top 5 or 6 articles, and it'll say the number under it. In fact, do that for folks. Type in Jon Corzine, Google News, and click it. Well, I say hundreds. See, people accuse me of exaggerating. No, it's actually the opposite. I tend to No, it was in the thousands this morning when I looked at it. And so I just say hundreds. And I've got to stop doing that. Blow it up. Okay, scroll up. And it depends on the algorithm each time you search. Scroll down.
It's hard to see, but it says 1,050 above.
It says, yeah, it says 1,050 results in the last 7 seconds, or 0.7. Go ahead and scroll down. And of top news, it's 69. And then you go back down, it's 357. You go back down. Yeah, it's weird. Each time it's different. Like, do it again, and then it'll show you a totally different number. Point is, it's thousands of articles. There you go. Because I get these idiot, comments. Oh, you did hundreds of articles. You're right. I lied to you. I tend to hold back. In fact, the only way I am dishonest is that I don't go all the way. It's not that I'm exaggerating. It's the opposite of it. As I keep trying to tell you, my mind automatically gauges it back because it sounds ridiculous. Because I wasn't lying just now on purpose. I'm trying to have total transparency here. It's that my mind, if I say I saw thousands of articles this morning, most people don't know how search engines work. They're not going to believe that. So I just showed people watching on Prisonplanet.tv. That in the last 2 days, over 1,000 articles. This morning it was like 1,600 and something. In fact, show them again. Do the search again because it's weird. The algorithm varies sometimes, hour to hour. In fact, this morning when I did it, it says 1,060 now. Here, scroll down. Yeah, it was 1,600 something this morning. Scroll down and show them. Yeah, there it is, 1,060. Whatever. The point is I'm trying to teach people and show people just how serious all this is, because this is a major bellwether, and that's why we're going to spend a lot of time on it with Gerald Celente, who's only about 15 minutes away. Now, I got to talk about this and dovetail it with this other article over here. This is a police state news. Obama's disbelief after staring into North Korea. Now, here's a guy who went to school and was an open communist, funded, of course, by the Rockefeller and Rothschild Foundations, Ford Foundation, all of it on record, living with the Weatherman bombers. I mean, this is our president. But again, that's just the bankers' front. Of course, they want all revolution to be communist because the big mega banks sit offshore. They want to destroy free market for the general public. Here's a guy shutting down our power plants. Here's a guy shutting down our pipelines. Here's a guy with taxes he knows putting us into a cardiac arrest. And he goes and looks over the DMZ. And I made the joke yesterday before these comments were out that he was coming home. Because there's only one place in the world, up until just last week, that allows the secret arrest and disappearance of people. And that was North Korea. Now the United States has signed into law similar stuff that is still completely illegal. You can sign a law saying you can rape kids on the White House lawn. Doesn't mean it's true. I got a right to resist that. That's illegal. Hitler can pass laws all day, doing bad things. I say it's baloney. There's a universal right to resist tyranny, as the founders stated and as common sense shows. But now China unveils new legislation on police powers. They did pass it, of detention. Experts warn that official draft legislation would have legalized disappearance, allowing police to hold suspects without informing families. The legislation's passed through one group of Communist Party officials. Now it's going to the other group. So it's not 100% done. And it's modeled, and they're defending it off of the NDAA. Go read it for yourself, London Guardian. Now, that said, Obama, who demanded this power, that is at North Korea level, that China is now imitating. We're now the example of evil. That is the criminal bankers that have taken over our country. And that are openly trying to break our will, like lawyers, to set this precedent. I mean, they got federal grants to take blood at checkpoints without warrants. First, they used fake rubber stamp general warrants that weren't real. A kangaroo warrant. Now they just don't even have them. Now they've got medicalized police units to train the other police in forced inoculation. I told you that years ago. Now they're announcing that. You see how they're getting this ready? If I walked up to a cop and punched him in the nose, the average cop would savagely attack me right back. But if I was the Rockefeller Foundation and I'm trying to force the cops to take shots and make them take the public filled with cancer viruses and sterilants, the cops do it. Because it's authority doing it to them, see? You're under attack. We're all under attack. None of us are on the winning globalist team. Even if you're immoral and think you're part of the system, you're under attack. And a lot of you won't listen. But when you get diagnosed with cancer at 35, when your child dies of cancer, and you finally go look at the statistics and find that pediatric cancer is over 10,000 percentage points up the last 50 years, the average cancer is 2,000% for adults, then you're going to, look, I want to save you now. I care about you, and I want us to all come in together for the big win against the globalist. I'm not risking my life for nothing. I know we can win. We can turn this back, but we've got to admit the horror. It's beyond what I can tell you. Words do not describe it. I'm begging you, look into what I'm saying. Look at this. Obama, it says, after squinting through binoculars into the nation frozen in time, U.S. President Barack Obama reeled off a contempt-laden, startlingly frank indictment of North Korea. Well, wait a minute. He said he wants a post-industrial world. Maury Strong and the UN want that. That's what carbon taxes are. They want a North Korean existence for us. That's actually their model. While they live in high-tech palaces. The Stalinist remnant of the Cold War was, in Obama's eyes, nothing but a nation which cannot make anything of any use, doesn't work, and even is vaunted weapon exports hardly state-of-the-art. This is Obama. It's like you're in a time warp, Obama said Sunday after he toured a rocky border post in the demilitarized buffer zone that has split North Korean peninsula for more time than he's been alive. It is like you're looking across 50 years into a country that has missed 40 years or 50 years of progress. Progress like your socialist health care that they're getting everybody ready for the conservative appointees to sign off on because the big banks are the ones that wrote the health care.
A little over a year ago,
I saw some of the neocons halfway praising the Army sergeant who they now admit shot at least 18 people, small children, as part of a reprisal for a roadside bomb. I saw some praise of that. Well, here's the aftermath. British soldiers shot dead by rogue Afghan army officer. 2 British soldiers have been shot dead by an Afghan army officer after an argument at a British headquarters in Helmand province, and you're going to see more of that. The troops are there, of course, on record to grow the opium and get it shipped back into Europe and the United States on record. They had a problem, of course, 3 years ago with the troops speaking out about being ordered to grow opium, so they just put it on the news and said, that's patriotism. In Tunisia, Islamicists step up demand for Islamic State. Same thing has now happened in Egypt. And again, I'm not an Islam basher, but the version of Islam being manipulated by Saudi Arabia and others, and I'm not getting into Shiite, Sunni fights, I'm a Christian. The globalists are putting radical Muslims in everywhere while telling me, give up my rights because the radical Muslims are going to kill me any minute. Then I'm watching as they put al-Qaeda in charge and then al-Qaeda-light Muslim Brotherhood. Everywhere. We have Syrian Girl on the nightly news tonight covering that. And then I'm going to premiere the Billy Corrigan interview that is really powerful and will be a newsmaker. He goes after Al Gore, carbon taxes, everything. It's a very powerful, very smart guy. Billy Corrigan of Smashing Pumpkins was with us a week and a half ago in studio. We took our time putting it all together, so that'll be out tonight after about 30 minutes of news and then an interview. So probably about 8 o'clock tonight, we'll start streaming that out to the Prisonplanet.tv viewers. By the way, it's 15 cents a day, and you get to see the radio show streamed with video, so that